students, I'm glad you're watching. In this video, we are going to talk about the formation of the first government of the United States. After watching this video, you should be able to describe some of the debates that impacted the creation of the Articles of Confederation. Now, perhaps it's redundant, but then again, may be worth mentioning that the delegates, or people who represented the different states to create the Articles, they came from different places and had different visions for the government that they hoped to create. Those differences inevitably led to conflict and eventually compromise in some circumstances as the delegates forged a new government. Let's examine some of those debates. First, the delegates had to decide where the government was going to get its money. You could probably guess that money has potential to get fairly contentious fairly quickly. The conflict was between northern states and southern states, and I know it's hard to believe that the northern states and southern states ever argued, but northern states believed the money each state contributed should be based on the number of residents in each state. In that population number, northerners wanted to include slaves, which of course meant southerners would pay for their enslaved populations. Southerners, who wanted to limit the amount of money southern states would be asked to pay to the government, objected. They did not believe slaves should be counted in the population because the Southern delegates argued that slaves were property. In the end, the delegates decided that the money each state would contribute would be based on the value of the land in each state, not the state's population. Crisis averted. I'm lying. Slavery is still going to be an issue. Another contentious issue at the convention was how states would vote. The original plan was to give each state one vote. Sounds good, right? On the surface, that seems fair. However, some delegates had a problem with that because it meant that the interests of residents of smaller states would have greater weight than residents from larger states. Think of it this way. If I'm in a group of 10 people, my group has one vote, and you are in a group of 5,000 people, and your group also has one vote, you might think that's unfair, probably because that's unfair. Therefore, some proposed that on financial issues, some states should have votes that are proportional to their population rather than all states getting an equal say. In the end, the delegates went with the first plan. Each state got one vote. Yeah, the one that we thought was unfair. They went that way. Now that you've watched this video, you should be aware of conflicts that stemmed from different ideas about how much money each state would contribute to the government and how many votes each state would get in the legislature. Thanks for watching. Here's a joke by Rob Elliott. Why did the robber wash his clothes before he ran away with the cash? He wanted a clean getaway.